My beautiful slide decks here. As you probably know, I no longer work for Microsoft, so I don't have to do a lot of slides anymore. So my slide decks are very, very short, and I like to do demos mainly. So this is my first slide. This is my next slide. And this is my next slide. And this is my next slide. So let's continue. Get out of the slides. So this is just pure demo. So if you're here for slides, this is the time for you to move on. So I was at Directions a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if anybody know Alex Chow, the MVP that's living in the US. Does anyone know this guy? He's writing a lot on Mibuso. Yes, so a lot of people know him. He's not very happy about RDSC reports. He hates these RDSC reports. And he's challenged me that he wants to do a document report faster than a classic designer, faster than I can do it in the Visual Studio. So I'm still waiting for him to record a video because I still think I can do it faster over in the Visual Studio. But that's a competition it's going to take place somewhere. It will be fun to see. But I was there at the Directions in the US and was having a talk with him, and I said to him, Alex, isn't there something that's better? Isn't there something better than the RDSC report than in Classic? He says, no, there's not. Okay, but it has to be something. And he says, no, there's not. And I said, okay, it has to be something. And he says, yeah, there's a little bit. And then I said, okay, so I grabbed out my phone, my Nokia Lumia 1020, and I took the recording of this, and I said, wanted to hear what he was saying. And this is what he was saying.
Okay, all right. RDLC is better than classic reporting.
Did you hear that? I'm just going to play this again. I promised never to play this for him, but he was...
Okay, all right. RDLC is better than classic reporting.
So he just said that. And I was recording this, and of course, he was continuous in sentence, but I stopped immediately when he said that. And I just smiled at him and I put my phone down. He says, no! And he started running after me. So we were two guys running around the campus at the Directions US, and he wanted me to delete that video. But now we have it. The RDSC report is
okay, all right. RDLC is better than classic reporting.
Isn't that amazing? A guy that really hates the RDSC reports and comes with a message like this is quite funny. So we had a lot of laugh about that. He didn't want me to show this video, and I promised not to put it on Facebook or YouTube or anything, but it's a little bit funny. So let's get into to the real reporting. So let's see how many of you guys. I did a session yesterday for 50 people. So how many of you guys are in this room? Let's see, that's 4. There's only 4 people here, is that correct? Okay, so I can continue the whole day that I did yesterday for you guys. Okay, so let me do that. So I will have a little stuff for you, the 4 guys that was in the session yesterday. I will have a little new for you also. So let's go in the Object Designer. I could do a demo in 2013, and I could do a demo in 2013 R2. I will be doing both things. But right now I'm just in 2013. So I'm just going to do a new report. And then when I do a new report, I'm just going to do my customer table. Going to add some fields. So I'm going to add my number and my name and my address, for example. And I want to save and compile. So I'll call this 6662, and I'll call this TechDays. I did a few reports yesterday, so let's just call this 5. And I save it. So this is nothing new in 2000 R2 or 2000, but in 2013, this new report dataset is new. So we don't have any section designers anymore. How many of you guys have started doing reports? Started doing RDLC reports? Okay. So, and how many people have done classic reports? Okay, so pretty much all of you. Great. So there's quite a few. I think 50% of you have not done any RDLC reports. So just touch a little bit about this. This is the new report designer. So you're doing the data set. only in NAV, and you're doing the layout over in Visual Studio. So let's have a look at the video in Visual Studio, and you will immediately see something that is different from what you have. Because I'm working with template reports. So I have, hopefully, opening up, I have created a template report that I'm using all the time when I am working with reports. This is a template report where I have all the elements that I need to have in my report. So this is a kind of a toolbox that I need to use. And this doesn't matter if this is a document report or this is just a plain group list report or just a list report. All the elements I need are here. So I haven't found anything else that I need to add here to this template report. Starting with this, when I created this template report and I started using this template report, my performance and the speed of me creating reports just increased dramatically. I promise that I will release these template reports on my blog, so you'll be able to download these template reports there. If you are completely in a situation where you would like to get these template reports now, you have to come with a USB stick afterwards, and you can get a copy if you want that. But let me show how do I do this. So if we go to, let's go to my TechDays here, training from yesterday, and we look in my template reports, and let's go for 2013, and we'll take the A4, and we'll just copy up this one here. This will just open up an RDLC file that I can use. Let's say I want to do all my reports. I want to do green, for example. So go to the property over here, and I could do the background. I could do like green, like this. So I save it. And what I need to do, just gonna copy others. So this should have been updated. Is that correct? Yes, got updated. So I'm just gonna take this file here, and I'm gonna copy this to my C drive, to my program files, Dynamics NAV, and in this case I'm working on 2013. So I put it at 7.0. I'm gonna go to the rotator client, pick my library. Gonna go to the report layout, and I'm gonna go and copy it in here and replace the file. So now I have replaced my master template report. So you don't actually need my template report. You can do this yourself. It's very easy. And then I will go and create a new report. So let's go and create a new report. So just say yes to that. That's fine. So new. So again, we'll just take the customer, add a few fields from the field menu. So yeah, it doesn't matter. So just get some fields in, and I can then open up my layout if it wants to do that. Come on. The name value cannot be entered. Fine enough. Fair enough. Delete. Go away. And open up the layout. And now my layout should be green. So that's just modified the kind of my template report. And you can do anything that you want to do in here, all the things that you want to have in your report. It doesn't need to be my template report. But what I have done is that all the elements that I have in my report are based after the UX guidelines that was released by Microsoft a couple of years ago. And these guidelines are the guidelines that all the standard reports, at least the one that has been modified, they have been developed after these guidelines. We did these guidelines to help you guys, for you to be able to make reports that are, kind of standardized. So it's not clear that this is a report done by Thomas, this is a report done by Camille, and this is a report done by David. So we had to have some kind of common the theme of all the reports. So also our customers can feel, this looks like the same product that we have here that we're looking at. But also it's much easier for when you are helping other colleagues and other developers, they've done it like this, and this guy has done it like this, and they've done it the same way. So it's easy for you to go back and forth and develop these reports. So, for example, you could take, what have I done in this template report here? So if I take a copy of this one here, say, not a copy, but let's see if I can create this one. I'm just going to remove the screen color. So what I've done in this one here is that I have put in a new table. And so I've added a lot of columns because I find it a lot easier to remove than add, because when I need to add, and each column I have to right-click, insert column, right-click, right-click, and click. I cannot add several columns automatically, so I cannot just like drag or draw my table here. I have to do them one at a time. Then what I've done is I have put the size of this text box here. I put this to say 11 points. So this is now the height of this cell here. There's 11 points, the table header. And why do I set it to 11? Because the UX guidelines says 10. So I put it to 11 because when we did the UX guidelines, I made a mistake. So yes, that's me. Sorry. But the problem is that we have when we have 10 points and the font is 8 points, Visual Studio is so smart that it just truncates your Y and J and G, the bottom of those letters. That's not very nice, but it does that. So you have to remember to always have, when you have your font of 8, for example, you always put 3 points higher for your cell height. And that's why I don't work in centimeters, I don't work in inches, I just work in points, because the font is one size, it's like in points, and then the cell height is also in points. It makes it much easier to remember, just 3 points on top of each other. I've tested this up to 15 points, and then it's 18 points, but from there up I've not tested it. So if you have to have bigger fonts in your report, you have to test and see if that also works. So what I now do is, let's say I want to have take this size here, so I copy this, and I go down to this cell here. So you don't do the row height on the row here itself. You actually do it in a cell. So I just copied here the value in here, or paste in the value. So I now have the same height. So I've done this. So what do I do now? Well, now I have to let's say I want to add in some information here. So let's take my number and customer, for example, a name and address. So you see the text starts looking not the way I want to do this. So let's change this. So I want to have this part here. I want to have this to be Seguro UI. Seguro UI is the standard font from Microsoft that Microsoft has been using in all their products. I believe it started from Windows 7. That's when that font came in. So this font is being used on all the devices that Microsoft comes with and the OSs that they come with. So this is the standard font. So now I have selected this Seguro UI, and I want this to be 8 points. And now it's 8 points, and I can then go to my font down here. Where are you, my friend? It here. Double click this, Control C, and then I can take this part here, and then I can go to my font again, and I can paste in here, and I can paste in my font. And now I change the font on all of my cells. This is something that's very nice that you could do this, so you can paste in the fonts. This does not work in Visual Studio 2012 and 2013. They've taken away this capability, so I'm not very pleased about that, actually. So we have then, what we have then also, we have the padding, and the padding is the kind of the margins that's inside a cell, and we can have, and the standard is the 2-point padding all over, and I have a search all over and try to see if there's any way that we can change Visual Studio so it doesn't do these kind of defaults. I don't want to have this high cell. I don't want to have this Arial as a standard font. I want to Secure as a standard font, and I don't want all these paddings as kind of standards. So is there any way we can change this? And any way we can set this so we can, from when we're doing development, we can have it the way we want it? But this is not possible. This is something that Visual Studio has full control over, and we have, as developers, have no control over, unfortunately. Would be very nice. In a future release, we had those powers. So I'm just going to put in 0 points all over. In the UX guideline, it says 5 points to the right and 5 points to the left. Of all cells, I have come to the conclusion that's just too much overhead, especially when we're doing document reports and we want to have many columns on our document reports. It's too much overhead to put 5 points on everything, both on the left and the right side. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting in 0 everywhere, and then where it's needed, I then put the 5 points in. So let me change this. So I need to change, there's two ways of doing this. So you can either go here and select everything, and then you can hit delete and hit enter, and then it looks like this. It's a little bit, it works, but I don't really like that. So what I usually do is I just go into the tablets, mark these tablets like this, and then I go to my padding, which is found where? Here. There's apparently a padding on the tablets. I don't know why, because it's not used for anything, but the properties there doesn't make sense. But so it helps me because I need to have this 0 points. So I just go into my cell here, and I go to down here, and just like I did on the font and all that. So let's go to my padding. It's up here. And I paste this in, and now my padding is now. So now I'm starting to see the things that I actually received at my report. So that's one thing I've done. So also I don't want to have the border colors. I don't want to have that light gray either. So let's go black. And also I don't want to have any border styles. I'm just going to go none. Okay, so now we're starting to get there. So as you see, I'm spending a lot of time on this. Using the template report, using the way you have your controls, just drop them in, and you have everything built for you. Now I have this created, and I need to do more now because I'm not done. Because I also have, for example, here for the list, I have the color. So I'm repeating the color. Oops, where are you? Here you are. So in this expression, you can see that will repeat for every row number. So every second row will be white or will be white smoke. So this is the kind of the green bar effect, if you know what that is. So it's white smoke effect right now, but it's in the old days it was called green bar effect. So I'm actually going to copy this code, if I can. And I'm going to put this down here again, in this part here. Instead of having no color, I'm going to go expression, and I go no color. Great. So now I have that in. So am I done? No, I'm not done yet, because there's a little tricky thing that I actually want to do now also. I want to make sure that this guy here is being repeated. So let's imagine I have a list that's overflowing more than one page, and I want this to be repeated on the next page. So how do I do this? Well, what I need to do is I need to go into my rows down here. This grouping window, which is found up here, this window here, you see in the bottom, you see that the grouping window is popping back and forth. This grouping window is very important to look in. Very important. But it's very hidden in Visual Studio 2010. In 2012 and 13, it's much better, because then you can see your details down here, because this is the important part that you need to work in. So I will go and do a little bit more changes here, because I want this row here, I want this to be repeated if this list rows over to the next page. So I want to have my captions in. So I'm going to go advanced mode. And in advanced mode, I can see all my, suddenly I can also see my static rows. And this is a static row, it's not a detail row, so it's not going through my whole data set here. So what I'll do is I'll click this, and I'll make sure that it says repeat on new page to true. Okay? So that's where you set those kind of things. If you go into the window of the tablets like this, let's mark it, and you go into this window here, and you start fiddling around with these buttons here, and you click on these buttons, remember that I will invite you to Noma, and Noma is the best restaurant in the world, or at least it was voted 3 years in a row. It is in Denmark. I'm not going to pay the trip for you to come to Denmark, but I'll pay the restaurant if you can get any of these buttons working. So you're more than welcome, and give me an email, because none of this works. At least I cannot get it to work. So if you can get it working, I will be very, very, very surprised, and they'll have a very nice dinner. I actually haven't been to this restaurant, so I'm actually looking forward for somebody to come and tell me how these buttons are actually working. So they're dead fish in the water, as I see it. Please prove me wrong, but I'm now giving out this promise to around 500 people, I think, and none have come back and said to me that they're working. They worked in Visual Studio 2008, but from Visual Studio 2010, they don't work. They're still in Visual Studio 2012 also, and they are also in 13. I don't know why, but they're still there. They don't work. So don't spend time on that, okay? This is the one big tip that I want to give you here. Is just don't spend time on that. You also have the possibility to go and create a rectangle, and if you insert a rectangle here, in this rectangle here, I believe you can also do this. You can also, don't spend time on these buttons, okay? Don't waste your time. If you need to work with page, changing the page number, and if you want to change, make sure that if things are being repeated on the new page, you need to work down in, not the calculator, go away, hit delete. You want to go down into this grouping window down here. This is where you need to work, okay? Group properties and page breaks, and then set page breaks here. That's where you need to set it, okay? Am I speaking too fast? Okay. Who thinks I should speed up? Okay, nobody. Okay. I'm just going to get a little water here. So while I'm drinking water, who has... actually, do a little exercise here. Please stand up, everybody. So please stand up. Thanks. So everybody's standing up. So I want everybody that had at least read one of my blog posts to sit down. So everybody that's standing up, you are all classic report designers. Is that correct? No? Who said no? Okay. So you are an expert in IDLC reports. Okay. Okay. So you had the experience already. Because if you have been struggling with IDLC reports, you have been to my blog, I would say. Because otherwise, this is something that you need to go to. Don't want to promote myself or anything, but I am doing a lot of tips and tricks there that is going to give you. You're allowed to sit down now. So thank you. My blog post is, and I'm on the internet. Great. So it's on Mibuso, and it's on .com. It's blogs Claus L. And I tend to write a lot. Actually, some people come up to me and say, Claus, you write too much. Stop. You need to shorten it. But I cannot. I need to go into the details. I need to explain all the things and how it is. So that's why I write a lot. So if that's too much for you, writing too much, I don't know. Then don't read it. So I have done many things in this blog in this 2 years that I have been out of Microsoft. And one of the blogs is, how can I see? Where is it? Let's see. Say it again. I write too much. Yes, exactly. Where are you? You're here. So I'm not going to go into much details on this one here, but it is a good picture of how the IDLC reports are, the versions, and then this is a good blog to read, but you can see all the versions that has been released by Microsoft and the versions that are being supported in NAV 2009 and what's supported in NAV 2013. And on the right side here, I need to make a new blog post, and I need to put in NAV 2013 because NAV 2013 is supporting RDLC 2010, which gives us many new possibilities. So let's have a look at that. But before we go and look at this, I want to give you another small tip. This small tip, so I guess you all kind of understood that just taking this part here and copying this over to another report is much simpler than instead of sitting there and making this and this and this and this, all these things from scratch. It's much easier just to grab it from this toolbox. But let's get back. So I want to show you a tip that I use all the time. At Abakiran, the company that I work for, we have at all our customer sites, we have a live database, not a demo, we have a live database, and we have a test database, and then we have a dev database. So we have these three databases. Usually when we when I have done some reports, and of course I never make mistakes, but sometimes that happens when the data that's not has not in the system when I did all my tests on my report, then I come to the customer calls and says there's something wrong with this report. It's not producing the right result. How are you going to fix this, Klaus? And what I do is that I say, okay, let's have a look at this. And of course, you are in a situation where this is new data that is in the system because you've tested all this in the Deo database and test database. You know this report was working perfectly. But suddenly, this report breaks. What happens? So what you do is usually what we do is we take all the data, we copy or we take the live database and we copy this to the test database and the Deo database. And while you do this, you have to make sure that if somebody in the Deo database and the test database is working on objects that has not been published to the live database, and there's a lot of communication here, and it just takes a lot of time. So what I do is I use the new feature in NAV 2013. I use this offline reporting. And I'm going to show you how to do this. It's very easy. So let me just create a simple report. So I'm just going to take this table here. So I'll just take this table and cut and select everything and up the calculator. I'm completely blind up here. Let's see if I can put some light on my keyboard so I can see. Thank you. So just select all this and let's just select Windows one. And for now, I'm just not going to have a page setup. I'm just going to remove that. And then I'm going to move this up. And let's put in, let's make this report. And just put in the number and the name and the address. Let's just save this, build it. Notice that I don't close Visual Studio here. I never close down Visual Studio. And why don't I close Visual Studio? I've seen this so many times that people are closing down Visual Studio. And you are, as I said yesterday in the session also, you are shooting yourself in the foot if you close down Visual Studio. Because you have the possibilities to roll back. So you can go Control Z, and go back. And when you are developing reports, and especially when you're learning how to do these reports, you will go down a path that is wrong. Okay? This is not what you should have done. Maybe you didn't go and read my blog, and then you did something wrong. Okay? Then you need to go back. And so if you have closed down Visual Studio, all your Control Z for rollback is impossible. So you need to do what you need to do now is you need to do undevelop what you have done. And that can be hard. Sometimes you actually had something in your report that you actually want to use. So you had some code in there, and now it's gone. So how do you get it back? But so, okay, you could of course go on and save the object on the hard drive like that. But just keep Visual Studio open, then you can go back and forth. So I can go roll back now if I want to. Say this is not really not what I wanted. So I'll just roll back. So I have everything where I started. No, let's go in front again. So I'll just go Control Y, and now I'm there again. Go back and forth. Closing down Visual Studio, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And if I see it, and I'm behind your desk, and I see you do this, close down Visual Studio, I'll go like this. Okay? Because you are wasting time. Wasting time. So don't close down Visual Studio. So build, and I do this with shortcut. So build is Control-Shift-B. I like keyboard. So then I'll go back to my report and let's save this. So I'll call this is now I'm at 66661, and I'm at TechDays. Oops, was on 6. So this is a very simple report, I know, but should I make it a little bit more advanced with grouping? Very fast? Yes? Okay, so let's do that. So give me a second. So data item, let's take 37, and let's just go to report 108 and just copy this over here, go to sign, and I'm just going to go to the sales line down here and copy the, oops, what did I do? Come on, design, and properties. Just going to copy this one, this guy, my little friend. And then this one, and I'm going to go this one, and I'm going to go this one, and 108, could of course do this, but it's just one for, so it's easier just to copy this in. And here, and here, and here. So I've now done that, so save and compile, works, fine, great. So then I put a few fields in. So now I'm looking at the field menu for the sales lines. So let's take the type, let's say the description, and yes, and let's take the amounts. So just gonna take the amount also from here. So I've done that, put it down and save and compile. Now I have this done. Let's go to my reports. So let's go back to my report. And now it tells me that it's modified the XSD. So I said, yes, I want to update. So now it's updated my schema here, but it has not updated my data set. So I want to update my data set. I'll do this in report data. So refresh. So let's do this another way then, because I'm not going to use this way of doing the report now. I'm going to use this guy here, for example. So I'll take this one and just hit delete. No page header, and then insert, paste. Put this up, like this. Now, what do I need to do? I need to put in my, let's say, I need to put a new group. So what I'll do, come on, give me some more space here, friend, so everybody can see what I'm doing. So what I always do is I put, for example, here the customer number, and I want the customer name and the customer address. So make this field here a little bit larger, for example, just for fun. So I'll merge these cells. Boom. So now I need to do a little grouping here. I will have one customer which has probably potentially multiple sales lines. So let me do that. So let's want to go into this box here. Let's go away from advanced mode down here. Go into my details, and I want to add a group. And I click parent group. When I create a parent group, I always click these two. Always. Because I find it hard to add them afterwards, so I always check mark this one. Then I will set the customer number here, we call group by, because this is the customer that I want to see, and I want to see all the sales lines underneath. One thing that's actually also, this drop-down button here will not work if you have not set your property over here to dataset resolve. So that's another thing I also do in my template report, so you don't have to spend time on that all that. It will create a column. It's a vertical text box column, so that goes vertical all the way at my group. I can keep this. I cannot keep this. So really how my design is. Right now I'm not going to keep it, so I'm just going to delete. So what I'll do now is I'll see that my report has changed. The size of my report here has changed, so it's now 20. And why is 20 a problem? Well, that's a problem because I have in my report properties up here, I have placed A4, and I have on the left side, I have 2 centimeters, on the right side, I have 1 centimeter. So 2 centimeters here and 1 centimeter here is 3 centimeters, and A4 is, okay. So A4 is 20 meters in width. And when I have minus 3 centimeters, that's 18 centimeters. So that's the very important thing for you to be aware of. So just cancel. So all this here also is set up in my template report. You don't have to worry about these things. So I need to make sure that the body here down here is 18. So if this is just as much as 18.00001, you will start getting blank pages. Okay? Don't forget about this body control. This is very important that you look at this control here. Everything that I have in my reports, I don't put to 18. None of the controls I put to 18. I put them all to 17.99. It's not visible by any human eye to see the difference. But why do I do this? Well, there's some Easter eggs. There's quite a lot of Easter eggs. I can create a whole list of these small Easter eggs that are in Visual Studio. But one of them is that actually I did not put 17.99 here. I put 17.99 in this control here. Suddenly it's 17.99006. I have no idea how that came there, but if I put this to 18, suddenly my body would have been grown as well, because my body is following what I have on my on the body. So if there's anything on the body that is 25 centimeters, like a control at 25 centimeters, of course my body will also be 25 centimeters. So if I put this control now and I did some changes around, and I did not change it at all, not at all. It's just adding these small decimals to your report, and you start getting blank pages. Who have written something on Webuso? Because a lot of people have done that. So I get blank pages. Has anybody done this here? Yeah, so we have 1 there, 2, yeah. So you're writing this on Webuso and you're crying out for help. Why is this happening? Well, this is why. One of them. The other one is if you're starting using peg brace on rectangles, you don't want to do that either. Okay, so 17.99 is what I want, and then you see that it looks like it's completely out to the border here. So don't put anything that you put on the report. It doesn't matter what control it is, list, matrix, table, tablix, or image or whatever. Don't put it to 18. The only thing you need to remember is 18 is your body. Okay, I can spend a lot of time talking about this. Let me just continue on my report here. So I have the customer. I want to have the customer show once. So let me go and look. So let me have a look at the data set just for fun. So let's rerun this report. So run. There's no NSC0. Okay, fine. Probably need to restart it. Oops. I had to restart my computer just before the session. So that's probably something. Go, Cash, go. Thank you. So I'm just going to take this one here. And restart. And restart. And yes, I also use the merge tool. And let's see if the server is up and running. So we go to database and we go to information. If there's information here, I can run my report. So let's do that. So run. And then we'll now open up the rotator client. Doesn't matter how the layout looks. I'm not interested in the layout right now. What I'm interested in here is see how the data set looks, how it looks in Excel. So I will open up the help on the request page and about this page, because then I will enable the feature so I can go directly into the about this report, so I don't have to run it twice. And then go Excel, and I will close down this one. Preview is not interesting. The data set is interesting. So this is how my data set looks. So I started I did a customer data items, and then I did a sales line data item. Then they were indented under each other. So what happens here is the data set is flattened. So for example, if I do the customer 10,000, so go to my filters. I always use filters over here. So when I'm doing development in Visual Studio, so before I do my development in Visual Studio, I picture what I need to do. I'm very visual. So I need to see how is it actually affecting the data set, what I'm actually doing now. So I do my filters, I do my changes in Excel first, and then I know exactly what I need to do. So now what I've done is that I've done a group on the customer, and in the customer I have then many fields. So let's just take customer 10,000. So here I have customer 10,000, and this customer 10,000 is producing 4 lines. It's producing 4 lines because I have 4 items in my sales lines for this customer. But my customer is being repeated each time down here, okay? And that's what we call flattening the data set. So when it comes to the next customer, the next customer will be repeated every time. So what I need to do now, I know now, is that when I get to customer 10,000, I will produce 4 lines. But what are the 4 lines that I want to use, that I want to go through? These are, of course, the sales lines. At least I want to show. And what are the things that I want to show in my group header? And what is it I need to show in my group footer? Right now in my group header, I want to show my customer number, my customer name, and my customer address. If I should put my customer number and name and address into the detail row, we'll go through the data set. I will, of course, get these 4 times, but I don't want that. This is the things that are interesting for me that I want to show. So let me go and look in the Visual Studio. So I need to have this part here. Now this part, this guy is merged, so I'm just going to unmerge him, so split the cells. So I'm going to take this guy and copy this guy up here. Oh, yeah, just copy, fine. And then I'm going to go here. I have let's see, now I did not refresh my data set, did I? Refresh, now there. So I'm going to put in the type here. I'm going to put in the description of the sales line. And here, let's put in the amount here over here. So, and now I get a nice sum here also. Let me just make this a little bit nicer. So I put in the right height. The 11 points has now been converted to centimeters. So this is the equalization. It's the same as 11 points. So I'm going to mark this cell. I'm going to mark this cell, holding down my shift button. And then I'm going to go to my size. Size. Where are you, my friend? There you are. Paste. And now they're the same height. Okay. So let's just take that part here and make it a little bit nicer. So bold, and then make this bold, 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 and then run the report. So go back to NAV. I always hit Control S, and then I hit Enter, Enter. So Control S, Enter, Enter. If you are in a maximized mode, you can just from here. This is where I see people are struggling because then they hit Escape, and when they hit Escape, they get the message that the report viewer, the report layout is already open. And it's, I have to escape because I have to go out and click on Run on the object designer for this report to run. And then you go close down Visual Studio, and what happens then, if you close down Visual Studio, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Okay? So what you do now is you hit Control R, okay, and then you run the report. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Unless, yes, of course, you have a lot of time, and then you do it, of course, but otherwise not. So you see, I have a lot of customers here that don't have any sales lines. So let's just for fun, just me move them for the sake of the demo. So I'm just going to go print on the detail, set to yes. So save, compile, and run. And I probably did run too fast. No, it was actually fine. So now I have my customer. My report has been created. I have my customer on top, and then I have for each of the customer, I have all the sales lines that are underneath here. So that was adding a small, making a little bit more complex this report here. So let's just take this report and run it. Yes, run it again because I want to show you something. Because what I do, as I said, when I need to help the customer, I need to be able to help them. And what I do is I go to help about this report, and there's this button here called Export XML. This is a very important feature that we added in 2013. It works perfect in 2013 R2 also. So let's try to export this. Let's actually just be a little creative. So just gonna take this report here. Let's close down Visual Studio, and let's go to 66661. 661. There you are. And file and export. And I'm just gonna go desktop and FOP and just go with 66661. Yes, and hopefully I have my R2 up and running. It's not going full mode. Go away. So click here, click here, click here, and full mode. Thank you. And password. And then what I'll do is that I will take this file that I just copied here, take this file, and I copy it over here. So go to R2, go into the object designer of R2, and I have, just want to check the time. How much time do I have left? So I have, I believe we're stopping at 1 o'clock, is that correct? Okay, so I have 28 minutes, great. Perfect. So what I'll do, I'll go File, I'll go Import, and I will go pick up my FOB file that I just imported into the 6661. So open this and see if I do have any conflicts. No, I don't have that, so just import it in. And it's being upgraded to RDLC 2010 and upgraded to R2 also. So okay, 666661. here you are, it's my friend, so design, and I can open up my designer here, and this is now opening up in Visual Studio 2012, because Visual Studio 2012 is the supported version that we have right now for building our reports. And as Michael Nielsen said, we will, not we, but the guys at Webleg, they will also want to support Visual Studio 2013. But you can already now work with reports in 2013 if you want to. I'll show you how. So now I have this report. So, and we could also just run it, but let's do something. We'll take this file here. So we say File, Save Report RDLC as, and then let's just save this on the desktop. And let's take it here, and make a new folder, and then just call this. Take days, and we'll call this 6, 5, whatever. Just something that I don't have, and we're gonna. And then I did something wrong. I love doing demos. And TechDays file, that's where I put it in. I want to save it as report RDLC. So that's what I need to do from the Visual Studio part. And then what I need to do from the client part is I need to run this report. So run this report, and hopefully the rotator client will start up. And yes, I need to update to the RTM, I know. But from reporting point of view, this does not change anything. So I'm going to go on the request page. I'm going to go help about this page, so I enable the feature so I can go in and see my data set. So I'll go help about this report. And let's make it a bit. I'm going to click this export to XML. And I want to save this. And let's just save this at desktop and 5 and save. Did I save it? I hope. Yes, so now it's there. So now I need an offline project. Offline project is described on MSDN, how to do this offline project. I actually don't know if they've done it for 2013 R2. I haven't checked. But that's because I don't go and look at the MSDN. I just use the offline project that I have. So what you need to do is you just go to my blog, and anything that's on my, not everything, but pretty much every time when I blog something, I always add some files that give me some demo reports of how to do things. And here, for example, here I have a solution here. If you click here, you'll get to my SkyDrive. This is my public SkyDrive that you'll get access to, of course, not my private SkyDrive, hopefully. So here, I'm in the offline project of the 2013 R2. This is the project I need to download. If you can see this path up here, you could actually go back. So this is all the files that I have placed in my R2 folder right now. I haven't blogged about all the things. Sometimes I play around with things and I just place it here. And of course, it would be nice if I had time to document it and tell all these things. But sometimes I just put some files in here. So that's where you can find things. Go in public here. You'll see there's a, let's go this view here. You'll see there's a NAV 2000 folder, 2009 folder, and there's 2013 folder, and 2013 R2 folder. I should have started on creating these folders from the beginning, but I didn't think when I started. So many of the files that are here are actually related to NAV 2009, but I don't want to change it because I have linked to these from Ebuso and other places, and then if I change it, I remove these, I just kill all the links to these files, if there are any, of course. I don't know, but yeah, some of them I know they are. So what I need to do, I go to the R2 folder here, and I want to go into the offline project here. So I'll take this offline project, and it's just like this, and I want to download it. It's only 28K, so it should be easy to download. So I'll say save as, and I can put it on my desktop, and I say, see, I don't know if it's there already, so I'm just going to put new. So save. So now it's saved. I go to my desktop again. I can take this project here, and I can copy this to my 2013 box. Actually, I did not need to have this in 2013 box. Let's just have it here. That's fine. And let's extract and extract. And now I have my offline project. What I need to do is I need to get the two files over from this machine. So I get my report and data set. So I take these two files. I grab them and copy it into the offline project. So I'm going to replace the two files that are already there. So copy, replace, and copy and replace. So I replaced this one, and I replaced this one. So I will now open up my project. So I could open this up in, let's say, Visual Studio 2012. This is now RDLC 2010 format. So Visual Studio 2010 is no go anymore because it's been passed, has been upgraded by the NAV team to RDLC 2010. So it cannot be designed with Visual Studio 2010 anymore. So, and I'm playing around with the themes. I really hate, I don't really hate, but I don't like the view of Visual Studio where everything's just gray. I need to have some kind of separation of things, and it's just, for me, having everything gray, so it's just doesn't, yeah, it disturbs my eyes. So I've downloaded some color themes. If you want the link to that color themes, you can also get that for me. And you can get this running in your Visual Studio. But what I need to do is I need to open up the report IDLC. And now I have the report over. And when I'm in an offline mode here now, so I've taken these two files. I've asked the customer to give me the dataset XML, and I have picked up the IDLC file myself from Visual Studio. Just getting these two files, I'm now able to run my report from inside Visual Studio. So now I actually have the possibility to debug and start without debugging, and I can actually see my report here. This is very strong. And support, when I showed this to the support team and back in the days, they were like this, and then the next thing they said was like, we want this for pages also. And I said, yeah, but then you have to talk to the page guys, yeah, we don't have this yet. Maybe in the future. So this is actually very nice. So I can do a development. I can see what is the problem and that this customer has on exactly that data that they have that they have, and I can do my modifications. And then when I'm done with my modifications, what I usually do is I go into the report and I open this as with XML view, like this, and I will then hit Control A. And then I will go over to the dev environment of the customer side, and I will put in this, and I'll test and that I don't work. I've not ruined anything. And then if I finally I'll put to the live environment, and then I will see that this report that the customer had problems with is now working. So let's go back to the design. Visual Studio 2012 can do many, many new things. One of the great new things is that you have the possibility on groups. So if I go into this group here, and I believe it's down here. Where are you, my friend? I need to click here. Here, I need to go group and page break. And it says break location, so I said just say between, for example. So I'm not going to do it right now, but this part here, reset page number. It's something that we have not had before. This is giving us much power for when we're printing, for example, multiple invoices. In NAV 2013 and 2009, this was not possible for us to do page 1 of 5, for example, because if we printed 500 invoices and they were all, let's say, 2 pages, then the first customer will get page 1 of 1,000, right? And that doesn't, then the customer says, what's going on here? I only want to have one page here. But now, from the group, we can say when the group is done, we reset the page number, and then we can start from scratch again. This is a great new feature we have in Visual Studio 2013 R2. But there's also some things I don't really like about Visual Studio Visual Studio 2012. And this one is especially the one I hate, because when you're in the designer and you do modifications to you sit there and you write your expressions. And I am a keyboard guy. I don't really like to use the mouse. And I'm here and I use back and forth with my arrow keys. And so I need to go in here, I need to go there. So right now, when I click the left arrow key in Visual Studio 2012, my cursor disappears. This is something that would be really nice if the Visual Studio team would focus on. So let's see up here. You see that my cursor is blinking. blink, blink, blink. Now I'm going to press the left arrow key. So my cursor is gone. Okay? So that's the worst thing in Visual Studio. I just hate it because I always work inside this expression editor and do my stuff. So it's just gone. I can hit backspace, but then of course I delete something. Apparently I was in there somewhere, but I couldn't see it. Let's go right arrow. So I'm completely out of context. Backspace works, but that's a pain. So I really don't want to work in Visual Studio 2012 for this reason here. So let's get out of this, unless of course they fix this with a hotfix. So what I want to do, I want to open up this offline report. I want to open up this in Visual Studio 2013. So now I have Visual Studio 2013 open up. So this is not supported right now, but Michael Nielsen said they wanted to support this. So yes, it's great if we can get this. And I open up my report again, and we can go to help, and we go about this report. And in this one here, you can now see that I'm running the Pro version of the 2013. And we could go in this, see the same expression. We'll go in here, and it's amazing that the small things that you can actually be impressed about, but this is something we are impressed about, so we can now go left with the arrow here, and we can go back and forth here. Isn't that amazing? So, yes. Okay, so I'll not ditch the Visual Studio guys anymore. This is something that they just need to fix, as I see it. So, but you can design reports in Visual Studio 2013 if you want to do that. So, I have compiled a long list of things that does not work in Visual Studio. I'll probably write an open letter to Microsoft that we get all these things fixed, because the list is quite long actually. But okay. I promise not to ditch Visual Studio team anymore. So let's not do that. I want to go have a look at a little bit more on R2. And in R2 we have a new feature, and I don't know how many people of you have seen the report builder. Have you seen this? Report builder. Okay, hands up. Who have designed reports in 2013 R2 with report builder? Okay, 1, 2 people. Okay. So let me show you. Let me show you one thing first here. So let's go to the designer first on this one. And I want to show you my best friend. This best friend is here. Let's add a few text boxes. So I'm going to add a few text boxes. Like this. So that's fine. So I'm going to make this one here. I want to have this one to be correct. So this should be size, should be 11 points. So 11 points. So now this one is correct. And I want the size of it. Let's say this 5 centimeters. So I'm happy with this one. So this is my master now. So I hold down the control. I click this one, I click this one, I click this one, and then I'll go left align, and I will go make same size, and I'll go remove vertical spacing. So now they all sit together like this, and this is in the layout toolbar. So that took less than 2 or 3 seconds to do this. So if you hear anybody complaining about there's no grids in the Visual Studio Designer, they have no idea how this layout toolbar works. It is very, very nice to work with. Let's give you another example how to do this. I had another report. Where was it? For example, this one here. So I did a service contract. I upgraded this service contract yesterday in the training. And how many minutes did I use on that? Did you? 36 minutes? 36 minutes. So I upgraded a classic report in front of everybody from classic to a document report in 36 minutes. So I upgraded this report here yesterday in 36 minutes. So let's just show you something in the designer. And one of the things, I'm not going to go through the report that I upgraded, but I just want to show you something here because of the layout. Remember that I have 2 centimeters in my left margin. I have 1 centimeter to my right margin. And now I can use this. I want to have this image here. I want to have this centered. I want to have it centered on my page. But the 2 centimeters here and the 1 centimeter will not be really, really centered, but I want it to be centered. So what I do is I create a small text box over here that is 2 centimeters. So it says 2 centimeters. So you cannot see the kind of the 1 centimeter that's out here. This is the margin that's not visible for you. And then there's an invisible margin out here that is 2 centimeters. So 2 centimeters invisible here, and this 1 centimeter is 3 centimeters. And this part here is 2 centimeters, and 1 centimeter here is 3 centimeters. So if I have these two, and I can make this part here, and I can make this part here equally the same, then I know that this one here, this picture here, is now centered completely on my page. So let's move this a little bit over here. And what I'll do is that I'll drag with my mouse like this. So all this and this selected. And then I'll use this one here. It says, make horizontal spacing equally. Dook. So this space here and this space here is the same. Now my image is centered on my page. Okay? Small trick. Don't spend time on the mouse and run the report and see if it actually works. This is how you do it. It's just very easy. So, just a small demo. So let's jump back to NAV 2013. And so this was my friend. A little thing about my friend here is also if you work with tables, and you should go insert a table, insert another table, and insert another table. It would be really nice if you could go to say, this is the one table that I'm happy with. You can click on the top left corner, you hit Control, and you can select this table and this table, but you cannot, okay? Unfortunately, it would be nice. What you can do is you can grab all of the 3 tables, and you can left align these, and then you can make same size if they were not the same size, and you can remove the vertical spacing. Now these tables are on top of each other without doing much work now that they are, okay? So let's have a look at some of the new features that are in R2. And let's have a look at, yes, so that's actually what I wanted to do. As I wanted to show you, let's open this report in Report Builder. So let's close this. I don't want to save, that's fine. So I want to go Tools, I want to go Options, and then here, this Report Builder, I'll say to yes. So I'll set this yes. So, okay. And now I'll open up the designer again. Now I'm not opening Visual Studio, but I'm opening up Report Builder. So now my report opens there. This is the free tool, and it's very nice that we have this in R2, because we don't have any other options of a free report designer. But as I said, I really like this, the way of doing layout with my layout toolbar. And when I have, let's say I have text boxes like this and this. And this is the master, and I take this. I can go to my align feature, and then I can go align left, and then I can not anymore. So I cannot remove vertical spacing. I cannot align, all these nice things that we have in Visual Studio. We don't have this here, unfortunately. So yeah, would be nice if they added that. So that's the report building in Report Designer. Sorry, in Report Builder. We have another also a small new thing is that we actually had the possibility, and I was sitting on top of the new report PMs. I said we need to have this because this is something I actually had on my to-do list for a very long time, but we did not get it into an NAV 2013. We simply had to cut it because of time. So this is something that is really nice. We can now say this report should now open up in preview mode. So not a preview mode, but print layout. So instead of having the report open up in a dynamic view, we'll have it open up in a kind of a view that's only meant for printing. And all our document reports in 2009 and 2013, they open up in a preview mode, in a mode where you can do a lot of interactive sorting. It's a dynamic mode that you can never trust. This mode is not how it will look on paper. It will never be that. You can try to do this, but it will never be like that, how it's being printed on paper. And you will have customers complaining, when I run my report, on premium report, I cannot see these things. No, but when you print it, it is actually okay. And then you can spend some time on doing that, making the preview, kind of filling the report so it looks okay in preview. Waste of time. We just need to have this report, this document report, being shown in print layout mode because we just want to print them. They're just print the report. They don't want to have any of these interactive features on. So we want to go to reactive print layout. So we now have this feature. This is actually a feature I'm very happy with. So go here, and I preview, and notice if it opens up, see that it goes directly into print layout. Okay, and this you'll see representation of how exactly it is when you print this report. You like this feature? Okay, because I always, this is something I had waited for a long time to get this. So. Anybody concerned about trans headers and trans footers? Yes? Yeah, there's a few people. The few people I want to ask, did you read my blog? You did not. Okay, so let's just spend a little time on that. It will probably take me about 5 minutes to explain. Then I have 2 minutes for questions. If you want to have questions now, if you have some questions, we can also do this. So you want to show trans headers and footers, or do you want to have questions? I will be here till Friday, so you're welcome to come and ask me questions otherwise. If you have a report you're really struggling with, it's like, why is it doing like this? Please help. I will also help you here these days here, no cost. So just come to me and I'll help you. So, yes? Pictures. You want to work with pictures? Okay. So you have problems with pictures? Okay. So the problem, you're talking about resolution, and I know why you're saying resolution. I'll show you why the problem is. That will take me, let's say, 2 or 3 minutes to do. Let's just do that. So there's 2 problems here. The first problem is that if you have, let me just explain. If you have a report that has a transparency, it will not work. Actually, the fastest thing for you to do is actually to go here, go to my blog, and go to reporting, and you will go to this one that's called, next page, go away with you. Come on, next page. Working with images in IDC reports, and you will see a long list of the things that you have to be concerned about. So that's all explained here, the problems you have. So go read my blog about that. So, yes, any other questions? Should I show trans headers and trans footers how that's done? Okay, okay. I have 5 minutes left, is that correct?
For the most motivated, the best students you have.
They're my best students I have. Okay, I have should have known that from the beginning. Then okay. Oh my God, and they're all large. So okay, so I'll give this to the people that come down and ask me a good question afterwards. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I need 5 good questions afterwards here, and then we can have lunch together, and I'll explain how it is. So let's go trans headers and trans footers. So. We will go to 2013 R2. Let's go here. So there's 3 different ways of doing trans headers and trans footers. About 2.5 years ago, I was really happy and I blogged about the trans headers and on the NAV team blog. And at that time, I was living in a castle that did not talk to real users. And now I'm at a partner, so I know how real things work. So my IQ has increased 300%. Talked to Dan Brown about this, leaving Microsoft, just your IQ just increase dramatically. And he looked at me and smiled and then left the other day so I'm not going to tell this to anyone else at Microsoft, so don't tell the people at Microsoft that your IQ will increase when you leave. Please don't. So what you do now in the trans header, trans footer, you go design and you go why, and I don't want to go repo builder. Do I want to go repo builder? Yeah, let's just try to see how if I run into some issues. So what I've done here is I've done a demo report. This is also on my blog, and this blog here. Can I go make this smaller? Yes, thank you. So what I've done is that I want to have this part here. This is my footer. I want this to be shown, of course, when the page is not, when the group is not done, and I want this the header here shown. Trans header shown when not on the first page, of course, but I want this to be shown when the report is still continuing. So not on the first page, but until the group is done. So it must be easier, probably much easier just to run the report so you can see it. So this is one of the examples that I have described on my blog. So I'm using 2 new features here. So let's see if we can fit this so you can all see. So notice that this first opens up in print layout. It doesn't open up in the dynamic view. It's open up how this actually will be printed. And I have one. Oops, is that the wrong report? No, page break. It is. Sorry. Report is open. Just close and take this one and overrun and preview. It's maybe unrealistic that I can explain this in this few seconds here. But then you see here, up here, I have the overall pages and I have the page of this group that I'm in. This group only have one item here, so I'm doing the same report, the customer with my sales lines. And then I only have one group and a group total like this, and the page is done. So let's go to the next page. So again, here I have now overall page 2 of 23 pages. But I'm still on page number 1. So in real scenario, of course I would not show this overall pages. But now I would only show page number 1. So when you send this invoice out to the partner, he can, the customer, you see that it has page 1 of 1. And I did play a little bit yesterday with this report, so don't mind the red the footer in the bottom. But I have my group total here. So again, everything completes is on this page. So I'll go to the next one here. So now it gets interesting because now it is now overflowing one page. So now I get page 1 of 3 so in this group, and I'm overall in page 3. So this is something that was not possible in R2. This is an RDL 2010 feature. So what I do now out in this one here, I'm doing a run value, and this running value is just adding up the numbers. And then from this part here, I'll just say report items and look at the last element of my report. So if we go to the designer of this, it's probably completely unrealistic. I can explain this in 30 seconds. So I think I will let you read my blog, because otherwise I will not stop on time, and I promise to stop on time. So go to my blog and you can read about this. And if you want more explanation of how to do these translators, this is translator part 2. This is the example that I want to explain to you in 2 seconds, which is not possible. So read about this here on my blog, and I hope I did not waste your time and you got something out of this presentation here. 1 hour is a little bit short to come with all the things that I'd like to share with you, but come and talk to me. Get a T-shirt if you have a good question, and if you have a report that you're struggling with, let's meet and then let me help you. So thanks for coming.